First, though, is a £111 increase to your energy bills fair? Or do you think energy companies should be stopped from increasing how much we all have to pay? 02078622222 is the number. The energy regulator, Ofgem, has this morning announced the average household will pay, we're going to easily remember this, £111 more on average for their energy bill over the next year. The regulator describes a typical household as a 2 to 3 bedroom home with 2 to 3 people living there, and expects that they will spend £1,849 a year on their gas and electric. And it's the third time in a row they put the bills up. It is predicted that there will be another increase later in the year. They can't surely keep doing this, can they, Russ?
In America, drill, baby, drill. In the UK, bill, baby, bill. That's what it is. This is your sanctions against Russia, energy bills. This is your drive to net zero, energy bills. These are your energy bills at the mercy of the international markets for oil and liquefied gas. And it's interesting when you look, Jeremy, where we get our energy from. Liquefied gas and oil from Norway spend tens of billions of pounds a year. Where do they get it from? The North Sea. Why aren't we using ours? We go to the Middle East for gas. We go to America for oil.
We're buying it in, but we're going to hear from Ed Miliband in a second.
Oh.
There we are.
Well,
he says, look, getting it from abroad is the first step to not needing it.
Paying a fortune for it.
Well, let's see what he's saying. So he's been talking about the bill rise this morning. We can have a listen.
This will be very worrying news for many families, and it's driven by the rise in global gas prices. But this government is determined to act. And we're acting to bring down bills for everyone with our mission for clean, homegrown power that we control. Because the only way we can have the energy security the British people deserve is by getting off fossil fuels that are controlled by petrostates and dictators.
Is that right, Gemma? Because actually we could have if we do what Russ says, which is drill, baby, drill, then surely we do get more fuel.
With respect, anybody that goes around saying drill, baby, drill, I have a massive problem with it. Such as
I also said bill, baby, bill.
Yeah.
Which is a
but drilling
why have you got a problem with that? That is official policy in the USA. As Trump says, you got to drill, baby, drill.
Yeah. Well,
and he won the election. He won the election with it.
That doesn't mean
on
anything
day one.
to me. Like the climate change is a real thing. Every scientist in the world absolutely agrees. And actually,
well, no, they don't. I'm sorry,
green,
I'm not having that.
Pursuing
that
green,
is not
Are you a
true.
climate change denier?
That is no, I'm not a denier. I like to have an open debate about it. The problem is,
why do we debate
just
fact?
a minute, in my experience, anyone who is fanatically believing of climate change, as soon as you try and have a discussion with them, they won't. And, they are part of a cult. Is there climate change? Maybe. Is there not climate change?
There's climate
Maybe.
change, there's no doubt. It's a question of how much of it is human.
Hang on a minute.
Can I just...
Records only go back 185 years.
Well, I mean,
how do we know?
The thing is, Trump.
This
is Trump as well.
In climate change science.
I have an inquiring mind.
But scientists who,
Do you?
I do, and I trust scientists who are leading their field
I've got some
at that
homework
rather
for you.
than you.
Climate the movie, YouTube, some of the world's most eminent scientists who are not in the pay of the green agenda.
Isn't it in the conspiracy
1 minute,
theories
19 seconds, 1 hour,
YouTube?
19 minutes. Honestly, Gemma, go and watch it and just have an open mind.
Why don't you watch the film Don't Look Up?
I have. I've seen it.
That's a fiction.
OK.
But last year was the hottest year we've ever had.
The point is, firstly, our bills, no matter what kind of energy we're using, should not be going up this much. Ofgem are there to protect the consumer, and they are not.
But that's because we're not
are going
drilling.
to huge... No, it isn't that. It's because they are creaming the shareholders and the CEOs. One of them, their money went up from 4.4 million to 10 million in a year. Tell me how that's fair. You've got EDF making profits of 2 billion in a year. Like, that is absolutely disgusting. Why are households paying to line the big fat cat's pocket? So that is the first problem. Secondly, by getting away from the fossils who believe in fossil fuels and going to green energy, you provide jobs all over the region. And actually, it's already been proven that net zero economy is distributed around the UK, which is good for levelling up. West Midlands, Yorkshire, the Humber and South West England are the biggest hotspots of activity,
net
and you
zero.
are and you are providing jobs, and you are changing over to energy that is clean and free, solar.
Well, it
wind.
was Boris Johnson who said we were going to be the Saudi Arabia of wind, which hasn't yet
Really?
happened. Yeah, well, let's
Forte.
see. We also stopped fracking. I never really understood. There was a little earthquake in Blackpool.
They were out in force demonstrating. The fact of the matter is, unless the United States, China and India do what we're trying to do with this green agenda and green economy, trying to get to 2030, it's going to cost us £200 billion. And by the way, good luck with getting that money now that the Americans want us to spend a certain amount on defence.
We should be leading the way. It doesn't matter with all the whataboutery. You know, we actually export all of our carbon footprint to places like China.
Okay.
So actually, a part of that is ours
Let's
anyway
get a
in
call.
the first place.
Joanne is in Nottinghamshire. Hi, Joanne. Hey, Joanne.
Hello, Jeremy.
Hey.
May I first say, I saw Bowie live.
You saw what?
Bowie live.
Bowie, David.
You saw Bowie live.
Wow.
I didn't expect that. My God, where was it at Charrington Bowl?
Well, you're always going on about it, so I thought I'd start off with that.
Tell me, forget the rest of the show. Where did you see him?
Wembley Stadium, when I was 19, I'm now about your age, I'm 58.
Yes.
Yeah, Wembley Stadium.
1980.
It was called the Dark Spider Tour.
Yeah. Okay. So late Bowie, but still a great shout. Would you like to talk about the subject we're discussing? You don't have to.
Yes, of course. Yeah, sorry.
No, don't be sorry. That was brilliant.
My benefits aren't going to rise by £111 a year, are they?
But they've got the triple lock on the pensions.
I've got the echo. I've got the awful
You've got the old. Let me hold up. There we are. It's that.
No, my TV's on mute. It's been on mute since you first called me.
It's coming down the phone.
Yeah,
is it the echo?
No. Yeah. It's not. No, the TV's off. The TV's
Well,
off
don't be
on
careful
mute.
with that. The TV off thing. That's not. We don't want to encourage that. All right, Joan. Listen, I tell you what. Call again. We've got it. We've got it. Bowie.
My benefits are
Yeah.
rising.
I've got it. I promise I got it. Your benefits are not increasing by £111. Thank you. And Bowie, which is more important. Richard Essex, hi.
Hi, good morning, Jeremy.
Good morning.
This is great news for the government because they don't do anything with Ofgem or anything like that. And it's great news for Rachel Reid. She now will think to herself, oh, Christ, this is another 2 million people that we've killed off pensioners.
Oh, you're thinking that there's a plot here?
Oh, yeah, definitely. That's what the Labour government are in power for, to kill as many pensioners as they can, and so they won't have to pay anything out to the pensioners.
Well, you're not. I mean, I'm not going to argue with you on that. Although it sounds crazy, only because you're not the first person to have said it. And genuinely, Russ, there is a belief that that's what's happening here, that the pensioners are being left to swing.
Well, when you see, look,
Brutal.
When you see the money that this government spends on all sorts of things, from foreign aid to the pursuit of net zero, at the expense of our pensioners, I've said it before on this show. To me, it's disgusting.
You go and say your thing you said before.
Well, they are the porcelain of this country, and we need to treat them as that.
Okay, Richard, thank you. Russ, Jemma, stay with us. More calls on this. The energy price rise, more than £100. Well, it's 111. Well, no, it's more than 100. It's £111. Now, your calls on the announcement that energy bills are going up again for the third consecutive time, or alternatively, that you've been to see Bowie live, which is the other thing. Claude in London, hello.
Hi, good morning.
How are you, Claude?
I'm really concerned, and I'm concerned on the fact that I think these energy bills are going to really make an impact on people with disabilities and the elderly. I've had some example case studies where some people have had to wear 10 layers to keep warm while making sure that their cost doesn't make their bill become costly for that individual. I'm also very concerned because I think every time when we go into war, we always have a home affairs crisis when it comes to energy bills, water bills, and this element of profiteering. So you see that it's not just a climate emergency, but it's also a social injustice and also human rights injustice as well. And I think there will be a scandal of how the vulnerable and also the elderly are really affected, and how most of them are going to, well, you could say suffer, and also
Understood.
probably some of them be brought to their death.
The only light in the tunnel here is it is getting warmer. That's the only thing, isn't it? So we haven't got that thing we had. It was a real fear in November, December, Claude. Do you remember?
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah. So is there anything to be seized from that we're going to get a little bit more sunshine, maybe?
On one hand, however, the cost is still going to be a outlay which individuals from elderly and disability are not really going to need to encounter. And I do feel that it is going to be profiteering for the energy companies, which are already profiting an extreme amount of money and profit, which you have to wonder where could that go in other sectors. As
Jemma has said. Thank you very much, Claude. Sally in Devon, hello.
Hello. Good
What can we
morning.
do? Should we do something here, or is this just the way the market works when there's a war on?
I should think from April to June, it's an area where there's most light. Solar panels work on the amount of light, not how sunny it is. That is one of the lightest times of the years. And there's not going to be really hard gales, so they won't be switching off wind turbines. Surely the energy bill should be decreasing by £111, not increasing.
I don't get this.
The regulator, he must be an idiot. And isn't it about time we started being like our Victorian ancestors and using water powers from our rivers in the winter? We could have that up and running by next winter if the government got their act together.
Yeah, I wonder whether also, Jemma, maybe there's a thought here that MPs should not be able to claim their heating on expenses because they don't feel the impact of these rises.
And absolutely not make promises to bring our bills down and then come into government and they go up. And actually, you sit there and you watch that bloke from Ofgem being interviewed on various stations, and he just sits there going, looking sort of really po-faced while people are saying these figures to him in terms of the profit, and they're the people who spoke to him, and they just sit there and you think, what is going on? We all feel so impotent. It's like with the water companies as well. These are basic utilities, things that we all need. Flipping heck, nationalise them. For goodness sake, privatisation failed.
Well, water is a separate thing, and obviously we can't have sewage in the sea anymore. It needs to stop. But with electricity, Russ, there is an argument that you don't get the investment in unless you offer people dividends. That's why they pay out.
Yeah, I mean, companies are in business to make profits for their shareholders. It's the whole principle of business. And, you know, Claude was saying, I can't understand why in the summer months it's going to be just as expensive. It's wholesale gas and oil markets. I think an interesting question to ask the viewers, Jeremy and Jemma and everyone watching at home is, let's assume the war in Ukraine is over, there's a peace deal. Would we all be happy to use Russian gas and oil to get lower bills again?
I bet the Germans would.
Well, the Germans may.
They've got
what about
big
in this
pipeline.
country?
Yeah, well, that's a good question. Thank you, Sally. Mike, go on, Sally, you still there?
Yes.
Did we cover that for you?
Well, I can't see why. I don't know why renewables are linked to the gas price.
Do you know what? My understanding is this. If you produce a unit of power, whether you do it with wind or manure or tide or sun or gas, the unit of power goes into the world market and then it reaches the same level of price as everything else.
Yeah.
What we don't do is link a load of solar panels to the nearest village and say, have that for free.
Yeah.
That's not, and it may be, we all have to start building local wind turbines and insisting that we get the power from them.
Yeah, we do need to be energy independent. There is something, Ed Miliband is correct on that.
Yeah,
but we need to be, we do, so that we're not reliant on Russia.
Well, we need nuclear power stations for that. We can't build them. Michael in Dover, hello.
Throughout the election campaign, Labour were vacuous to the extreme. They've come into government, they've continued the vacuous tone. and most brutal hypocrisy. They criticise the Conservatives for not capping energy bills, and here we are, popping up £111 increase.
Yep. Well, it's this thing is that it goes back to the election campaign, and people say, Labour didn't really give any answers to these questions. Well, they may have even said things that were reversed. Yeah. I mean, we're going to talk about the WASPy women. They were supposed to get compensated.
I think Starmer was on this show and said that bills would come down.
Yep, that's for sure. Yeah. Thanks, Michael. Neil in London, hello.
Hi, Jeremy.
Are you also cross about this, or do we just have to let the market find its level?
Oh, the problem I've got is it's the £111 increase fair. Of course it's not fair. When Chris O'Shea, the CEO of Centrica, was paid $8 million in 2023. $8 million.
No.
It baffles, it boggles the mind.
Is that the case? We need to check that. Is that right?
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
There's another CEO, I don't know which company, 10 million. Went up from 4.4 million to 10 million. Based on what?
Yeah, based on what?
Sorry. Chris O'Shea was on television, said, I don't deserve that pay rise.
Yeah.
But yet he took it. Give it back if you don't deserve it.
Figures are correct. Figures are correct. Yeah. But it's like, the thing is, if you've got a monopoly, you print money. And we now know this. And, you might disagree, Russ, but Persimmon, the house builder, was a beneficiary of the government's Help to Buy scheme. As a result of the profits it made, their chief exec got 32 million in 1 year.
I know. When do we have
There's some crazy stuff going on. Why is this happening?
It's over the top. And, if you go to the other side of the energy business, anyone at Thames Water in management shouldn't be paid a penny.
In prison.
Disgusting. Well, what's going on
also,
there?
Ofgem overestimated the borrowing costs of lots of companies when the interest rates began to climb, and that all got put onto consumers. And then they've seen now that this was a massive flaw, so there's all this excess money, and they're not giving it back.
Let's quickly get Dave in West Yorkshire High. We're all kind of agreeing on this, that there's something wrong here. Dave, what do you think? Dave? OK, we don't have Dave.
Oh.
He's there.
Like being Dave free.
He might. Well, we can't have a Dave free day.
No.
Dave.
Dave.
A little moment's silence for Dave.